Well, hi team, and hello there, Coasties. I am Fitz Koehler, your race announcer for the second annual Coast Guard Marathon weekend. And boy, am I excited to get back to you in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Last year was year number one, and boy, did our race organizers hit it out of the park. It was unreasonably awesome for a first year event with so many bells and whistles. And I just got great news from our race director that there's even more bells and whistles. So we're excited to talk to you. I'm going to bring in our race director. Listen, the point of the show is to make sure you know everything you need to know to make the absolute best of race weekends. We're going to talk about the expo, packet pickup, the swag. We're going to talk about start times, hydration stations, porta potties, because they're always the greatest to talk about, our finish line celebrations, parking, everything you need to know, but know in advance. Right down there, coastguardmarathon.com is filled with probably everything we're going to talk about tonight. So have mercy on the woman I'm about to introduce you to, because as race directing goes, she will spend the next few days putting out all sorts of fires that just pop up last minute. So if you have a question about the race, please go straight to coastguardmarathon.com first. There's a 99.999% chance that information already lives on that website, and this woman might be able to get a little bit of sleep. So again, I'm your race announcer, but here comes your race director. It's Corrina Ruffieux. Hello.
Hey Fitz, and hey everybody that's watching. We're so excited for Coast Guard Marathon this weekend or week, either, both.
So last year, really, how did you do it? How did this come about? Because it was such a impressive production, and again, you'd never done it before. So give us a little inside scoop.
Teamwork. I mean, it sounds cliche, but I'm the lucky person who wears the title race director, but there was a whole lot of people supporting, helping. I should shout out my husband because he was a key element of being a supporter. We're both runners, so that was a helpful element in being able to pull some of this stuff off. Our race producer, Kim Bruno of Strider Events, is fantastic. And the entire Elizabeth City community, and can't forget, of course, our coasties. Absolutely can't express how grateful I am to have the opportunity to work with so many Coast Guardsmen from literally all over the country, and they are a big part of making this event happen.
Well, it's such a special branch of the military, and it's such a big responsibility to put on a production that represents them well. And you did, and they were out in full force. I mean, it made me giddy every minute I was out there at your start and finish line to see those coasties, because not only are they impressive in their uniforms with all of their gear, the trucks and the boats and the planes and the helicopters, but they were so enthusiastic and they're cheering. It was awesome.
We're hoping to bring all that back this year. So that finish line will be chock full of cheering coasties.
Very cool. Very cool. So listen, Tim Patton is going to be a return customer. He joined us last year, and he knows how this works. So folks watching, please use the comment section wherever you are. Right now, we'd love to know if you are participating this year, which race or races you're participating in, and what you're looking forward to most. And Tim, tell us what you loved about last year, because Tim actually PR'd at your race. He's a police sergeant from Cleveland. So it's another first responder, another serviceman, and we love them.
All right, that's fabulous. So this year we have in-person participants from 47 states, still missing just a few, but if you add our virtual, we get all 50. But we have folks coming from Canada, Ireland, Guam, Puerto Rico. It's amazing how far people are traveling to do this race, and that just is so special to me.
Yeah, a worthy trip for sure. Question: the person from Ireland, were they also there last year?
No, this is a new runner.
Okay, because my weird memory makes me believe there was another runner from Ireland last year. So
I can't remember. I'd have to go look.
maybe they're friends. Maybe word got out in the Emerald Island. But okay, so let's start at the start. What's the first thing to take place this weekend?
The Health and Fitness Expo is on Thursday and Friday. So you've got 2 full days to come by the Health and Fitness Expo, get your shirt, get your bib, visit with sponsors, vendors, and of course, the whole expo is chock full of everything Coast Guard. And I don't know if you remember last year, Fitz, we had our fun photo spot with Coast Guard props. That's making a return.
The baskets.
A return appearance this year. So make sure you spend some time checking that out. There'll be free samples. Oh, new this year, we'll have Seven Sounds Brewing Company there offering free beer samples of their RBM Pale Ale, which is the special beer that they made for this year's Coast Guard Marathon in honor of our Finishers Medal, which features the RBM, the Response Boat Medium.
Okay, very cool. And I always think it's funny how something so healthy like running is always tied so closely with beer.
Carbs. It's just, you got to have carbs when you're done. You need them.
Yeah, we're hydrating. It's
Right.
electrolytes, etc. We've got Christy Woodard coming in, her 6th state and her 50-state challenge. Looking forward to this race and seeing Elizabeth City. Military races are always the best. I agree. And what I love is when I travel to other running events, there's always someone saying, I've done Marine Corps, but now I got to have Coast Guard too. So it's just part of the deal. Got to do it. Community sport was terrific. Running on the base was very cool.
So let's talk about that for a second. So last year, the runners got to run on base, but we kind of went by a very important part of base Elizabeth City. A lot of people don't realize it's one of the biggest air stations in the entire Coast Guard because Elizabeth City is such a small community. So this year, you get to actually run on the run. Excuse me, run on the runway.
Go ahead. I'm an online choker as well, so.
Yes, so it should be, it added some mileage on base and we'll see what happens, but it's not very often that you get to run on an active runway, which we're super excited about.
That's incredible.
Air Station Elizabeth City for working with us to make it happen.
Yeah, well, that's earned. That's because you did such a great job last year. They're like, okay, we can trust these people. We're going to let them have the even cooler stuff. Oh, we got another 2nd-year runner, John Leary.
Thanks for coming back, everybody.
Stacia Grace. Yeah. Okay. So Expo, there will be opportunities for shopping, I guess.
Oh, yes. We have some very nice Coast Guard. We'll have this jacket is actually, let's see, it says always ready, which is showing up, I think, backwards on screen, but our always ready jackets will be there. We have some brand new merch that nobody has seen yet. By popular demand, we have the sweatshirt that you're wearing, Fitz. Will be available instead of just for volunteers, for runners to purchase. And we've got hats this year, which I'm super excited about because we didn't have those last year, but everybody asked. So we heard you and we'll have it there. And the Coast Guard Exchange is going to be there as well. And they'll be selling USCG merch, whereas we'll be selling marathon merch. So
okay,
all sorts of opportunities to spend money.
A little bit of everything. And then will the musicians be playing at the expo again?
They will not be at the expo, but we are super excited. We've got the saxophone quartet playing the national anthem again. And we also have the Coast Guard Band Jazz Combo coming to town. They're giving a free concert on Thursday night. And you can it's free, but you do need tickets because there's a limited number of seats. But those tickets are available on our website or in the race guide. We can shoot that out if you want to go, but that's Thursday at 7. And then the jazz combo will also be at the race on Saturday as part of our post-race celebration. So we'll have lots of everything coasty all weekend long.
Okay. Yeah. And you guys are saturated with it all. And the equipment, the trucks and the boats and the planes and stuff is really the highlight. Okay. So as far as the bib pickup, do people need their identification to pick up their bib?
You please bring your ID to get your bib. And if you are picking up a friend's bib, that is absolutely okay. Just have a photocopy on your phone or whatever of their ID as well. And you can get your friend's bib and shirt as well, but they'll be missing out on the fun. So have them come with you.
That's right. That's right. And then the expo, again, it's Thursday 3 to 7, Friday 11 to 7.
Correct.
And there is no race day bib pickup, correct?
No Saturday race day pickup. So you have to get it Thursday or Friday. Yes. So let's talk about that for a second. The 5K is Friday at 4 o'clock. We do know that some people are traveling from far away and can't quite get there by 1, which is when we have to shut down the bib pickup at the expo. So if you can't make it by 1, we will happily bring your bibs to the 5K start and you can get them. You just have to go back to the expo after the 5K to get your shirt and your swag bag and all that good stuff.
Okay. Okay. That's easy. That's very generous of you. And we know that Friday travel to a race can be tricky. So is there still spots to register for any of the races?
For the 5K or the virtual, yes. Only for folks who have military ID, the half and the full, because you do run on base, we have to do a background check, which is why our registration closes a few weeks early. So we do have a few active duty folks who perhaps just found out about the race. They can come to the expo and register in person with that military ID only. Otherwise, 5K and virtual.
Okay. Okay. And do you want to tell us about the swag this year?
I neglected to bring some home with me, and I meant to, but so I'll answer that question. The 5K shirts are black this year, and they have a super cool historic surf boat, Coast Guard surf boat design on them, and it says protect, defend, save. And then the half and the full marathon shirts are a bright blue. So love both the designs. The finishers medals feature the Response Boat Medium, which is one of the Coast Guard's most universal assets. And fun fact, we will have a Response Boat Medium at Waterfront Park. So after you finish your race, you can take your finisher's medal and go take a selfie or a picture with the coasties and the actual boat that's on the medal. So very excited to be able to show the boat off and show it on the medal as well as in person.
Folks, this is such a unique event. Again, I had my socks blown off last year again first, and I thought, how did she get all of this stuff here on the first year? This is the kind of thing you would imagine for a 20th anniversary. So if you're not already registered this year, put this on your calendar next year because it's so good. Okay, so I've got some comments I want to share. Sheila Novotny, this is one of my runners. I see her all over the country. She's looking forward to her first Coast Guard marathon. Coming from Jack's Beach. Husband is retired Navy.
Well, welcome.
Rachel will be second time to do the Semper Paratus Challenge last year with the half. Wow, now doing the full. Good luck, Rachel. I'm sure you'll have a great time. And then here's a great question. Can they still add Air Sea Land Challenge?
Yes, that actually closes on March 3rd. So you still have just a few days left to add that on. And that's a super fun partnership between the Coast Guard Marathon, the Air Force Marathon, and the Space Force 10 miler. So in order to do that challenge, folks do each of our 3 races virtually or in person. We get that you can't always travel to all of these races. And then you just purchase, I want to say for $35, the Sea, Air, and Space Challenge, and you get a super cool finisher's medal that has all 3 assets on it. So this year, the finisher's medal has the Response Boat Medium, 3 different helicopters from the Air Force Marathon. I can't tell you which 3 helicopters they are because I'm not Air Force, and a rocket from the Space Force. So it's a really, really cool finisher's medal that you get for doing all 3.
Spectacular.
And you sign up for that actually on our website. So if you go to coastguardmarathon.com and our store, to register on the store, it's there.
Good. And I'm guessing that people can probably, if they do that, they can still go register virtually or in person for this. Okay.
For 5K, yeah.
All right. So Andrew's wife is running. He's coming to support. We love that, Andrew. Second timer for Mark.
Wow, 107th marathon. That's impressive.
And he's retired Coast Guard.
Yay, Semper Paratus.
I can't wait to see you, Mark. And one of your social media ambassadors, Stacia Grace.
Mm-hmm.
How many ambassadors do you have?
That's Anastasia, if I'm correct. She'll have to send us a second note, but we're super excited to welcome you back as part of the Ainsley's Angels team.
Oh, we love our Ainsley's Angels. And folks, if you don't know who Ainsley's Angels are, they're very similar to Team Hoyt. They're racing duo. So we make sure these races are inclusive for everybody of all abilities. And this is for family members or friends to partner up. And one does the pushing and one does the inspiring, and they go the distance together.
Yes, we're thrilled to have. Oh yes, get your free beer at the end after you run the half and the full marathon.
All right. Now, if you have a certain amount of aging, will that help you maybe get a beer, or do you have to have your ID?
I think I actually can't answer that. I'd have to pass that off to our beer sponsor, which is Seven Sounds Brewery.
Just bring your ID. Just bring your ID. Okay. And then, it's a lot of enthusiasm here. Okay. So we're going to move on from the comments. Now, do we cover everything in the expo, do you think? Is there anything else?
The expo, it's Thursday, Friday. It'll be a lot of fun. Beer, samples, photo ops, get your important stuff. Go shopping. Yes.
Okay. And then Friday, it's our 5K. It starts, IL go at 4:00, correct?
At 4:00, yes. We're starting it a little bit earlier this year in hopes that we can wrap up a little earlier. And then our runners will maybe go explore downtown Elizabeth City. We have this really fun event on Friday nights called First Friday Art Walk. It's free. You get to walk around. The businesses stay open late. There's live music, artists, all that good stuff. But yeah, the 5K, and should we tell our little secret that I just shared with you at the beginning?
I think you should.
I think so. This was a surprise to me this week. Our Coast Guard Air Station is going to provide us with not one but 2 flyovers. So the 5K gets a flyover at just before 4:00 on Friday, and then we had a second flyover on Saturday morning, just in advance of the half and the full marathon start. And you were there. That flyover is pretty darn amazing.
Well, it was a twofer because we had the Herc, which is explain the Herc.
So the C-130 Super Herc, and I am not an expert by any means, but it is this massive airplane. The Air Force uses them as well, but the Coast Guard uses them to rescue. They carry supplies. They can actually carry a helicopter in it. They can carry vehicles inside it. They carry anything and everything that you could need for a rescue. So it is a really big plane, and it can actually fly with the tail open. And so I don't know if you noticed, but last year the tail was open and there were coasties in it waving at us.
Oh, I didn't notice that. No.
They were kind of small from our perspective, but yeah. And then we had a helicopter flying over in parallel or right next to the C-130, which was super awesome.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going to go. Is that helicopter looked like a mosquito next to this monster airplane? It was, it was so cool. And it felt like they were 12 feet on top of us. I'm sure they were probably slightly higher, but it did feel like you could reach up and touch it. And it's definitely probably the coolest thing I've ever seen as start of a race. I've been to a lot, so
I'm thrilled that we have that not once but twice this year.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. And I didn't get any video of it last year, so I've been explaining it to people for 365 days, and I will get some video. I will figure it out.
Prepared, and you have 2 chances.
That's right. That's right. So everybody, as at your start line, if you're running with your phone, have it ready. It's right after the anthem. We have these flyovers, and it's as patriotic moment as exists. So, so very cool. So 4:00 for the Friday, for the 5K. Folks, get there early. So as with all races, the reason you're coming is to be a part of the experience. Yes, you're going to run this certain distance, but you can run that distance alone in your neighborhood any day of the year. This is about being together and being a part of this Coast Guard Marathon Weekend experience. So show up early. You'll be able to park your car, make yourself at home. Tell people about parking, and will there be water at the start line, or should they bring their own?
Yes, we will provide water. We have hopefully plenty of porta potties. We have, you should have received your race guide And in the race guide, there's a whole downtown parking map. That is also on coastguardmarathon.com, as Fitz mentioned. Under race weekend, there's a whole parking page. There's even a road closures page in case you've got, one gentleman mentioned he's coming to cheer on his wife. In case he wants to know where to go to cheer her on. Know those road closures so that you can get around. Of course, the road closures are for the safety of our runners, so they are super important. But we have all that information published and available.
Love it. So easy peasy. Look for it, and it is there. So get there early. We kick off at 4. Are we doing awards post-race again this year?
We will do an award ceremony at 5:00, and then the 5K is over. It seems so short and easy compared to our schedule for Saturday. I've got to be on site at 4:30 a.m. on Saturday. Runners, you get to show up as early as 6. Okay. So you've got a little more sleep time than I do.
A little more wiggle room. Do they get a 5K and marathon shirt if they're doing both?
Yes, you do. You get both shirts if you're doing both events, both finishers medals. And assuming you signed up for the Semper Paratus Challenge, you get a super cool finishers coin, challenge coin.
Now,
has the historic surfboat on it as well.
Let's say someone's registered for the full marathon. They didn't register for the challenge, but they're already have the background check. Is there more room for people to register for the challenge?
We can do that. You'd have to come to the expo to do it in person, but yes, we can do that. If the background check is covered, and we're also doing, if you've signed up for the half and you're like, I think I want to do the full, we can upgrade you. Or you're like, gee, I can't do the full. I really want to do the half to still have the experience. All that can be done at the expo. We're trying to be as flexible as we can.
Okay, great. And again, if you already have that background check, you might as well. If you come out to the 5K and just walk it, just walk it. You get the extra shirt, the extra medal, the extra flyover, the extra fun. Why not? Why not?
Yes, our mayor is even doing the 5K. He's a little concerned that he's not trained for it at all. But I've told him he can walk. He'll be good. Yeah. So go for a walk with the Elizabeth City mayor. He's super friendly, and he would love to welcome you to our community.
That's fantastic. Is Congressman Murphy coming back out again?
He's not. Our districts got changed, but I believe our new congressman, Don Davis, is working his schedule to come on out. So Congressman Murphy, again, he got shifted to a different part of North Carolina in the last elections. He did send a letter though, and it's in our race guide. He's incredibly super supportive, just not able to join us.
He was absolutely fantastic. And yes, Christy, everybody can walk. So Corrina, we don't have anyone out there with a whip on the course, like whipping people if they're not lifting their knees.
No, we request a 1 hour cutoff on the 5K, but most people can do a 5K in an hour. If not, we're just going to ask you to go to the sidewalk and finish on the sidewalk. We're not going to shut down until you finish and we give you your finisher's medal. The sidewalk walking is just, at some point, the police want to open the roads back up for folks to get around and get to those breweries and restaurants that I think Tim mentioned a moment ago.
That's right. That's right. And Christy, I can't wait to see you. All right. So let's get to Sunday morning. Or no, Saturday morning. Saturday. Sorry. Habits.
Saturday morning.
So it was start times.
The park opens at 6 a.m. for runners. We'll be there, as I mentioned, a little bit earlier than that, but we have one of our local coffee shops is providing free coffee to runners, and it's for sale for the rest of us. But if you're a runner and you need that last minute jolt of caffeine, go visit Muddy's. They'll be there. We'll have music and pre-race excitement provided by Fitz. And then our pre-race ceremony will be at about 7:15. A few short things, and then we're gonna have our honor guard ceremony, presenting of the colors, which is also beautiful and very patriotic, followed by the national anthem by the Coast Guard Band Saxophone Quartet, followed by the flyover, and then we get to start. One thing to note for this year is our race is actually an Olympic trials qualifying race. So we have 14 elite athletes that are coming in their bid to qualify for the Olympic trials, which will be next February in Orlando. So they will have priority to be at the start because of course they're trying to seriously beat the clock to make that, and then everybody else will be behind them. But we're super excited and honored to have that. It should be a lot of fun to watch those elite athletes hustle throughout the marathon course.
Yeah, they are fast. You think about something where, if you sit down in the car for an hour, so you start getting squirmy. Imagine running at, 4 minutes, 52 seconds per mile for 13 miles. It's just mind blowing. Now, is this for the marathon or half marathon
It's
or
for the
both?
full marathon. So they're doing the full marathon course.
Wow. Well, good. I love seeing speedsters. Love the speedsters. Now, I'm going to be honest, my preference is always the back of the pack. I think that's where the magic always happens, but it's a nice privilege to have such fine athletes show up. Well, we've got Alessandra coming from Corpus Christi.
Welcome.
One of your ambassadors.
Hey, Nick. I met you in Raleigh. Raleigh, good grief. Richmond. Thanks for coming back.
And then Jack says, yeah, by the time they finish their full.
That's my speed too. So I'm with you.
I'm a solid middle of the pack, or sometimes worse. But I ran Boston Marathon. I was the very back of the pack. I was 15,000th place and proud. So
you know what? There's a lot to be said. So we have a Master Chief from the Coast Guard doing his very first marathon. Master Chief Tattoo, and he's done some really fabulous videos in his training, and his phrase is he's doing it to complete, not compete. So we'll be on the lookout for him, but we're super excited for him. He's definitely a back of the packer, but great energy, and we're super excited to have him.
Yeah, and we will take care of all of you. So just make it. Now, we're going to kick you off at 7:30. That's go time. Will we have one corral or several corrals?
We're going to have one corral. There's about 400 and change marathoners and about 600 half marathoners. So it's not a massive race. So there should be plenty of room, other than we are going to line up our adaptive athletes, and our duos will be right at the front. They actually go off at 7:29.
Yeah.
And then we'll have our elite athletes and then everybody else. We also this year have a fabulous pacing team. So if you are looking to BQ or PR, or you've just never done it before and don't know what you're doing and want company the whole race, we have half marathon and full marathon pacers, and they'll be in the start queue with signs and paces. They'll also be at the expo, so you can come talk to them and kind of figure out, what do I want to do? So we're very excited to have that. So there's a lot of opportunities to put yourself in the best spot for you and your start.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic ad. And for those who are unfamiliar with pacers, you don't need to sign up for them. You don't need to pay for them. It's nice if you meet them in advance and have a little conversation. They can give you a little bit of a heads up on what their game plan is. But really, if you see someone with that 5-hour marathon sign and that's how fast or slow you want to run, you go stand next to that person. You can introduce yourself, or you can just be a little lurker who stalks them for 26.2 miles. But yeah, there's no pomp and circumstance about it. Just show up. And usually our pacers are pretty charismatic, and they kind of host a little talk show while they're on the go from point A to point B. They're awesome.
Yeah. One of our, the two ladies who own this company, Elevated Running and Pacing, one of them is a Coastie spouse. So she has a lot of love for Coast Guardsmen, and that's why she's so excited to be a pacer for this race.
Now, will we have our Admiral out there? And our
Admiral Hickey is coming back and running the half marathon again, and he brought with him a fellow Admiral, Admiral Gilreath, who is also running the half marathon. We have an Admiral doing the 5K, so we do have quite a few people. Still working on that start show. So I don't know who's going to be speaking at the start show, but I'll let you know in advance as we work on that. But we have coasties from literally all over the country coming to run, which is super exciting.
That's fantastic.
And all branches of the military. We do have all 6 branches of the military covered, from Air Force to Navy to Army to Space Force. Everybody's represented. Did I miss somebody?
Marine Corps.
Marine Corps. Thank you. They're heavy.
Well, they were out in full force last year, which I was interested in seeing. Like, it's just, are they competitive? But it was partnership. They were really proud of the Coasties and proud to be a part of this. Do you have a sweeper?
We do have a sweeper. We have two, we call them SAG vehicles, and they will be going, following our slowest runner. Again, for safety of our runners, the full marathon is on a 16-minute a mile pace, which is 2 hours. No, not 2 hours. 7 hours. It was 2:30 was what was in my head, and that converted to 2 hours and 30 minutes. 7 hours to complete the course. And if you need help, we've got two amazing, friendly local volunteers who will pick you up and bring you back. And obviously we have medical stations all along the course. If you haven't looked at the maps, they're all on coastguardmarathon.com. New this year, we have interactive maps, which are kind of cool. So you can really kind of zoom in and look at the different features. But the maps show where the medical spots are, where the water spots are, where the food spots are, which we have goo, tri-berry and salted caramel. I picked the salted caramel, but everybody has their choices of flavors. So all of that is available for you on the course. We also have our local schools marching bands out on the course, which we're super excited about. We did that last year and got tons of positive feedback. So we'll have one band at the beginning of the course, and then the remaining three marching bands kind of trading off spots towards the very end of the course. So when you come across those marching bands at the end of the course, you're that close to the end.
So backing up a little bit, how frequently will you have water stops?
Every 2 miles.
Okay. And is there an electrolyte drink as well?
Yes. Our presenting sponsor, thank you for asking that. I definitely need to mention them, is Aid Nation. And they are a hydration drink, and that will be at every spot as well. So we'll have Aid Nation first and then water second. So if you want both, you can kind of wash the Aid Nation down. I know some people don't like to have, a taste in their mouth when they're running. Or you can just grab the Aid Nation and keep going. But that is at every spot as well, every 2 miles. And then, of course, at every spot, there's also a porta potty. So every 2 miles, you've got an option to go to the bathroom. And the medical stations all have porta potties as well. So hopefully there's plenty out there on the race to keep everybody happy and comfortable and running their best.
Yeah. And if you normally splash water in your face, wait for the second
cup. Yes, second cup. The Aid Nation cups are colored. The water cups are plain.
Or you could just be delicious for a few miles until it goes away. Blah, blah, blah. We have another question. The sweeper vehicles.
Yes. We also have lead cyclists. And we have lead cyclists for the full marathon and the half marathon. So there should be plenty of opportunities. We've done everything we can to make sure everybody stays on course. We've got volunteers lining the whole course as much as possible, especially where there's a turn. We've got tons of signage and the vehicles following. Also, our local sheriff and police are super fabulous and very excited. The sheriff's wife is actually running the Semper Paratus Challenge, so I can guarantee you he will be out there making sure the roads are safe, if only for personal reasons. So it's Elizabeth City's cool. It's a small town, and the whole community really comes together to support.
And then Finish Line Festival.
Yes, 9 to 4. Anything and everything Coast Guard you could think of. Tons of photo ops. We will have, as I mentioned, the Coast Guard jazz combo playing music. We also have a DJ in between. Last year, Fitz, you might remember we had a search and rescue demonstration.
Yes, I do.
This year we have 2. We're going to do one at 10:30 and a second one at 1. So depending on where you are with your run time, hopefully you can watch one of those.
And folks, the finish line is facing water. So there's a little bit of land where there's some coasty gear in there, and then water. And so, yeah, I was watching the finish line and then watching humans leap out of planes to rescue other humans and pull them up in baskets. It was very cool. So hopefully if you're bringing family members and friends there, they're not likely to watch you finish the race. They're going to be totally swept up.
Watching the coasties instead.
Yeah.
And we brought back this year the recovery zone, which I know a lot of our runners absolutely love. So we have the USO coming with all sorts of recovery gear, like I forget what it's called, but the inflatable
boots.
Yes, that you pull on and they squish. Yes, so we've got the boots, they've got chairs. We have an athlete's edge joining us all the way from Pennsylvania to give free massages to our athletes, which we are just so honored that they're joining us. We'll have Centera, which is one of our top sponsors, that's our local hospital, providing medical staff, trainers to talk to or work with. So our whole recovery zone is available for runners. And then, of course, I think somebody mentioned we'll have free beer. Runners get obviously 21 and up, so our young runners don't get that.
Right.
Hey, Jacob, we're super excited to see that 45-foot RBM featured on the finisher's medal. Jacob and his mom ran last year, and I think hopefully you're running again together this year.
That's so cute.
What else? We'll have barbecue sandwiches from Currituck Barbecue. We also have a few other food trucks this year. I think Fitz, you might enjoy. One of them is bringing healthy rice bowls.
Nice.
And we have the Neon Lemon, which is doing flavored lemonades.
Okay.
Neon Lemon and Shipwrecked, which are our two additional food trucks. Those are for purchase, but they're both Coastie owned.
Nice.
And then we have another brewery joining us, also Coastie owned. So we're really trying to do everything we can to support current active duty retirees. And then we've got Coast Guard recruiting coming with the Coast Guard culinary team, and they are making homemade granola bars that will be available. They'll be in the post-race area, so you can go chat with them, learn about what it's like to be in the culinary aspect of the coast. There's just so much, I can't even think of it all.
Yeah, that is a lot of stuff. I saw, you know what I saw on the website? I saw all the runners get a free barbecue sandwich and they get a free beer. And that's with the tear off tags from your bibs.
Yes.
But there's apparently a whole heck of a lot more than.
There's a lot more, and it's for everybody. And we do, somebody asked a question earlier. We do have bag check for Saturday, but we don't have bag check for Friday for the 5K because that's a much shorter race and there should be enough parking nearby. But on Saturday, absolutely, you've got a tear off tab. Yes, you can bring your own bag, or yes, you need to bring your own bag. Just stick that tab on it and we will happily take care of that bag for you at our tent.
Fantastic. And then the next topic I was going to broach, and here we go, Alessandra.
No. I've been checking it every day. So I'm going to look at it right now. Last I checked, Saturday looked fabulous and Friday looked slightly damp. And it is still looking like that. Oh, it might actually be a little toasty on Saturday. It's currently calling for 70 at the high, but not until later in the day.
Yeah, that sounds like perfect running weather, in fact.
Yes, but on Friday, we might get a little damp for the 5K. But that's okay. 5K is short. If it's going to rain on one of the days, I vote for a short day.
You're right. And it's a coasty thing. So they're kind of soggy guys sometimes, and gals. So we should not moan about being soggy at a race when they're soggy for work, right?
I think we can handle it.
Yeah, we can handle it. And then Tim Patton from Ohio says it's not going to snow. And that is accurate.
Yeah. It very rarely snows here.
Sheila Novotny, does it have to be a clear bag?
It does not have to be a clear bag. Thanks for asking. Your own backpack, whatever you've got.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to? Oh, what about award ceremony for Saturday's events?
Yes. So we will have a half marathon award ceremony at 11 and the full marathon award ceremony at 1:30. And there'll be signs and hopefully it will be nice and obvious, but it'll be immediately following the search and rescue demonstration. So once you see the helicopter and the boat making lots of noise, the award ceremony is coming up right after that. So head on over to the award location.
Absolutely. That's a good trigger. Oh, and any fruit. You gotta.
Yes, we will. At the finish line, there's fruit. We'll have bananas and granola bars and water, all donated by Food Lion. Thank you so much, Food Lion, for being an awesome sponsor. And then Dole donated amazing fruit cups. So we have all of that at the finish line as well. None of that fruit's going to be on the course. The only calories on the course are, well, the hydration drink, which is a little bit, but the goo. There's 2 goo spots for the marathon and 1 for the half marathon.
Yeah, folks, don't be afraid to bring your snacks with you. Get a little fanny pack and shove in your favorite bar, or I don't know, whatever you want to put in there. Put it in there and eat. If you're running 26.2 miles, you're probably going to need some extra calories. So you have the goo, you have the electrolyte beverage, but bring us something or other in your fanny pack, and you won't get hangry. For split tracking, where are they stationed?
We just decided that our course is a little complicated because of it's a small town and running on base. So there's certain areas where we can't put split tracking that a normal race, like you traditionally put them, we have a 5K split and say we'd want to do a 10K or 13.1. We can't do those. Okay. So that's a great question. And in order for me to answer accurately, I'm going to create a social post and answer that one. So check us out on @Coast Guard Marathon, either Facebook or Instagram. But we'll have 4 splits this year. The 5K, and then I don't know the miles of the other ones without looking at my notes because they're unusual numbers.
Okay. To be determined and revealed.
Definitely.
Be determined and revealed. Folks, does anyone have any questions? Any more questions? Share them. I would love to hear what you're most excited about this weekend. And then, Corrina, what else would you like to share?
Wow, we've covered so much. One thing we didn't talk about is for those of you that are running the full marathon is this year we modified the course a little bit and you get to actually run a lap around our World War II blimp hangar, which is this massive concrete building. And you really can't, you talked about that the helicopter looked like a mosquito next to the C-130. Well, the C-130 looks like a mosquito next to this blimp hangar. So we've worked with the company that owns it now. And so that's going to be a really neat feature. We'll try to get pictures. We do have marathon photo coming back. Okay. So if you're, they're going to try to be out on the course and capture some of those really unique photo spots. So you can get your photos, music, check out the race guide. If you haven't seen the race guide, feel free to message us on social or info@coastguardmarathon.com, and we'll be happy to email you, message you, all of those good things.
Yeah, that's really cool. Maybe next year we'll get the blimp flyover.
I asked. Maybe next year. Blimps, apparently, fun fact, they're super expensive to fly. So, because they're all helium and helium is crazy expensive. So it's actually more expensive to fly a blimp, apparently, than a C-130.
Now, is there a chance everyone inside the blimp, including the pilots, sound like Mickey Mouse the whole time?
So I should to be truly accurate, these are aerostats, not blimps. So the difference is they both look like blimps, but an aerostat is tethered and nobody's inside it. A blimp has a pilot inside it.
Okay.
So the aerostats have no people. So no Mickey Mouse talking.
Nobody talks funny.
No,
all right. Sorry. That's a stupid question, but that's a really smart answer.
I've learned a lot by all of these little elements to our race that are super unique.
Oh, okay. Hold on. And Tim Patton wants to know, will the half marathoners get to run around the blimp station?
No, the half marathon runs on the runway. But then when you get off the runway, the full marathoners go right and go essentially a whole nother half marathon. And that's where the blimp hangar is. It's way out in the country. So the blimp hangars for the full marathons, the runway is for the half and full.
And for folks who are questioning, is this really a flat and fast course? Tim Patton, he actually PR'd by 20 minutes on your course.
Wow.
Last year for the marathon. Incredible. And then he went on to qualify for Boston running Detroit Free Press. So your race kicked him off for some pretty big pretty big accomplishments. Race bags pickup, same as last year.
At the same location, yes. At the K.E. White Expo Center, yes. And yeah, our course, I cannot find a flatter course. I keep looking at every other certified course that somebody mentions to me, and they're like, oh, this one's flat, or like, this one's on the beach. Beaches are flat. Ours is literally the flattest. I mean, there's only a variance of less than 10 feet across the entire, less than 10 feet.
All right. Sounds like a PR day. So this past weekend, I announced the Publix Gasparilla Distance Classic in Tampa, Florida. And at some point, it felt like these poor people were running on the sun. It was in the 80s and it just was hot. It was hot. I was telling them all, I said, start slow, finish slower. Nobody run fast. Just nobody, everybody go as slow as you can go and drink all the water on the course. It looks like you will have PR weather, PR ready course.
PR, it's definitely a PR ready course. We will do everything we can. Tim's right. The little bridge that's right close to the start that you can see, Fitz, from where you'll be, that's the highest elevation.
Tough stuff. Tough stuff. Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, you are so eloquent and just a great representative of your own business. You've been very clear and concise. Folks, this is going to be an extraordinary weekend. If you wisely registered, you're going to have so much fun. Get in early, enjoy the community. There's so much going on. If you go to her website, coastguardmarathon.com, there's other race happenings and there's a bunch of suggestions for places to eat and things to do and music to listen to, etc. So use that website. And, you know, since you're coming out, embed yourself in the city and its culture, at least for the weekend. And, you know, I think the Coast Guard is such a special part of our American culture that I don't think as many of us are sophisticated about. So this is a nice opportunity to learn. Is there anything else you would like to share before we go, Corrina?
Thank you all so much for joining us and your excitement and enthusiasm. You give me excitement and enthusiasm and energy to keep going and putting out those fires that Fitz mentioned earlier. And can't wait to see you Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all of the above. Make sure you say hi.
Yeah, it'll all be worth it once you see those runners on the course. And for my big request for everybody is come have fun. You know, I'm going to be at the start line with shenanigans. I expect you to participate in those happy faces in the morning. And then when you cross the finish line, know that this is your yay me moment. This is the thing you've been training for, you paid for, you've traveled to. Put those hands up, smile big. If anyone looks at their watch and makes a grouchy face crossing the finish line, I will send you back and make you do it again. So it's going to be a wonderful time. Start hydrating now, fuel up. We wish you safe travels, and we will see you in Elizabeth City, right?
Definitely. We'll see you in a few days.
All right. Bye, team. Have a great night.